about 5 seconds into our episode.
Woo! Well,
Thank you.
I will just deal with that. I'm
Audio
going to take Eric
engineers.
down because Eric's allowed something.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, me.
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
We can just start. We just
John.
Yeah.
Max.
give me a wiener pizza.
We're the special guests that are here every episode.
And your co-star, Dirk.
What's up, Dirk?
Where Dirk at?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm good. We just got out of voice and diction class, as usual when we shoot these. I don't know if we've mentioned this before.
We
but
are
we have a
high school
class.
students
Yes.
that go to middle school.
And yeah, it's this really funny Adam Sandler comedy that we're living through right now.
Yep.
That's why all the Native Americans walked out.
Yo.
That happened to Adam Sandler.
Right.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it took me a minute, but yeah, that's
Wait, what?
Oh, so
He was making-
Adam Sandler's making a really offensive movie.
Great.
And he has...
because he's not funny.
Yeah. So the movie's being made for Netflix, and it's basically he is a Native American in the movie. Yeah, I know. But he casted real Native Americans, and they're like, "Hey, you're getting our culture wrong. You know, this is pretty offensive. We don't." Anyway, they ended up walking out on him in the middle of the shoot just because Adam Sandler was such a dingus.
See, and this reminds me of our conversation last episode where we're talking about how there is a growing maturity of sensitivity showing up in pop culture now, where people
That's
act
right.
like idiots. They're being told to shut the fuck up. In a
Except
nice
for
way.
Adam Sandler.
That's what this
when you
is.
have millions of dollars, apparently you can get away with anything.
Well, I mean, he can get
He
away
did
with
get
it.
away with it.
But I mean,
He's
Still
cast-
making it.
His cast left.
but I mean, he doesn't have the people he wanted.
Yeah, he's gonna
He's
find.
suffering in one way or another.
I
Not a
say,
big way. But
I say we protest Adam Sandler by going to see Paul Blart 2.
Paul Blart 2, Mall Cop.
It's got a 6 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's when you know it's a good movie.
Hey, that's
Dude.
better than 5.
Hashtag Blart Squad. Dude.
Used to
Let's
be
go.
a 0 and then like a
Let's
couple
get it.
idiots.
I just like the name Blart. Can we just talk
Yeah.
for a moment about how funny that name is?
I read
It
the
sounds
positive
like
reviews.
a fart.
I read the positive reviews and they're all basically like, it's not that good, but it's not that bad.
I wonder if it's better than the first one.
No, it got a lower score in the first one.
What did the first one get?
Probably like a 40 something.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's a significant
So the first one
downhill
was
climb.
like.
I saw the
Braveheart.
first one. I saw the first
The
one.
first one was an okay, kind of cheap cash-in, but like, you know, it doesn't matter how good the movies are, people see it because it's like, hey, Kevin James, I know him, he's fat. You know, and that's the appeal.
Video games.
Yeah. Hey, we can talk about whatever we want.
By the way, I gotta mention this.
We
Speaking
start
of
off.
Paul Blart, have you ever seen, these are popular on Tumblr, where people will sort of scramble letters in the title of the movie, the title, like the cover of it.
Anagram?
Anagrams, but like it looks like a serial killer, like letters on a paper,
like a ransom
like
note.
that. But they'll make it spell different stuff. It'll say like Paul asked something, and it'll say something random, and it'll like fuck up his face, and like I saw the best one, and this
Why?
was it's funny.
Okay.
You'll have to see it.
I don't know if it's
I'll
like
show
a
you.
marketing thing or what it was.
No. This is just fans doing fans.
Mm-hmm.
Neil C. Sirica made one like of Lemon Demon fame. You know, like Hotter Puppet Pals. That guy.
Yeah.
He made one where he took the texture of Paul Blart's skin and stretched it over a shopping mall.
I saw this.
And it says Paul Blart Flesh Mall.
Wow.
It's the funniest thing. For those who are watching the video, his face is stretched out like a...
I'm gonna find it while we're talking.
It's brilliant.
Paul Blart Flesh Mall.
Well, see, that I would see.
Yeah.
That I would see in art.
He's just
Well,
a flesh mall. He's made of skin and you shop in it.
I think the problem with Happy Madison is they give this half of a shit, where they give enough of a shit for their films to look sort of legitimate, but they don't give but their movies are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just go all the way with, let's just put whatever we want on screen, who cares? Because you're gonna make the money either way. Might as well have some fun with it.
I agree.
Because, like, there's some insane stuff you could do, but all the movies are so boring. Although, Pixels, I saw the trailer for that, which I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it looks good, but it got laughs in the theater. I don't know if that's due to stupidity or the fact that Scotty White really thinks it's funny, and
I think it might be for people.
Old people?
Well, see, here's the question: what would you buy in a flesh mall?
Flesh.
Do you go to like the Freckle store and there's like a hair store?
Flesh Mall.
They got fleshlights.
Welcome to the hair store. We got a discount on grays.
You could buy wigs.
Is that what it is?
I'm just guessing.
What else? Other than
that
freckles and hair,
comes
what do you
from
buy in a
flesh.
flesh mall?
You can buy meat.
Would it really justify its own mall? Wouldn't it be more like a plaza? Because really, how many things can you buy?
Well, like there's segregated stores that exist that sell the same thing. I mean, if you go to the mall now, you have both the J.C. Penney and the Sears, and they're basically the same thing, but they're
Right.
just, so there's
I
probably
hear
some
you.
overlap.
So there's like 4 or 5 different versions of hairs and freckle stores.
Mm-hmm.
And we here at Memory Code Radio are actually against segregation, like in the mall. So that's just not a really good setup.
That wasn't the type I meant by segregation.
You did say like segregation, and that's like what we.
And we're talking about skin after all, Eric, so you may want to watch it, buddy.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, why does the mall have to be white, Eric?
Yeah.
I didn't say it had
Why,
to be.
why can't it be a black skin mall, huh?
I believe in all races and creeds of color, skin, and of
Hopefully,
flesh
America,
walls.
you
Creed? That sounds-
accept his
that's-
apology.
Assassin's Creed.
But Creed is the name of a
Very-
white character in The Office.
Yeah, look at you, man.
Come on!
Look at
Creed is
systemic
also
racism.
Is Creed a white band, or are there any members that are
Yes,
white?
I believe so. I believe so.
We're deleting you from the memory card.
I don't want to think that anyone but a white person go, oh dear,
I like to think they got a guy named Toby in the back.
I want to hope
That's
that
just
no
like,
other race has that to their name.
Toby
I hope that-
Maguire
Toby Maguire.
in the back.
I saw Lizzie
the
McGuire's
actor.
older brother. So
Yeah.
funny, man.
What was the boy from Lizzie McGuire?
Ethan?
Ethan?
No, Gordo was her friend.
I remember
I know
that.
too much about the
but
show.
like the
That's
brother,
like- yeah, that's
the
too
brother
much.
from Lizzie McGuire was the kid from Christmas Vacation 2.
Eric, are you
Straight
in the
up-
frame?
Who cares? Nobody comes from
Here,
me.
what, you scoot over a little
I mean,
bit.
yeah, I got some
No,
room.
nobody
Yeah,
cares
I just go back.
about me. Let's
Not
face
true.
it, I'm the least popular.
Oh,
on the
what?
show.
No.
You're the anchor, my friend.
This show is the least popular in general.
Every show needs a racist.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
I am not racist.
Accept his apology, America. He doesn't mean.
Did we say racist? We meant racer, like he just goes fast.
Yeah, he's like.
Gotta go fast, like
Yeah.
the Sonic franchise. It sells.
See, now he
really
hates
well.
blue people, so I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
Super
They
Sonic
introduced
race.
the new Sonic race to Final Fantasy 14, so who cares? It's all good.
Hey, man, are you still playing that?
Of course.
Because I saw the other day that you were online, and I was gonna
I play
see
other things.
if
you
you'd
know.
like join my party. But then I noticed that you were playing Final Fantasy, and I was like, I don't want to interrupt his Final
Okay.
Fantasy time.
So here's the thing.
We've yet to be in a party together on PS4. I'm sad because I want to talk to you
Well,
on
if-
my game console.
Here's the deal. If you invite me, I'm much more likely to join.
But I don't want to interrupt Final Fantasy 14. I know it's important. to
You could still invite me.
All right, okay.
I mean, it's not like the worst that would happen
I wanna
is
be
I
a
tell
needy
you
friend.
I'm in the middle of something.
I don't want to be needy. I don't want to.
I
don't
would-
want to smother you.
You gotta stay aloof.
I
you know?
feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it's the equivalent of getting a text. It tells me, hey, I'm online. If you're interested, you can party up with me.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm talking to people in my guild, and that's usually what I'm doing when I'm playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, honestly, there's not much to do because I've played to the extent. And
What do you
tell-
do? What do you do on? Grind?
Sorta. You're trying to get better equipment. Is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to do now. Just a little bit better, but mostly I'm just talking to people.
So you're playing Destiny in a Final Fantasy universe.
That's what it's become
Mhm.
because I've done all the stuff until the expansion comes out.
Gotcha.
And the expansion doesn't come out until June. So I got a while to wait. But that's what happens when you really stick to something. I've played other games though that I
Like-
want to talk about.
like?
I got 2 games to talk about.
Fire away.
So the expansion or DLC, however you want to call it, to Wolfenstein came out.
Oh yeah, it did.
The
I need
Old
to get
Blood.
that.
I've played half of it, and I'm going to say this.
Lucky.
As you know, Wolfenstein was my game of the year last year. I loved Wolfenstein.
Understandably so.
The DLC is so good. It's not as story heavy as the original game, but in terms of pure gameplay, fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's long. Like this is not an insubstantial DLC. This feels like an expansion pack equivalent. Like
Good. That's what it's supposed
I
to be.
think it's like 8 to 10 hours of content.
Oh, wow.
I'm halfway through. It took me about 4 or 5 hours.
That's longer than some games.
Well, you gotta consider Wolfenstein was a really long shooter, and I think the reason was there's no multiplayer in Wolfenstein.
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
was only single player.
Which I loved.
And I'm gonna say this: playing this, I'm gonna double down and say it. If you like Half-Life, consider playing Wolfenstein. They're very similar, but it's just a little more arcadey. But it's the same kind of game design to it. It's got this perfect pacing and the best gunplay, and like I know you like Shadow Warrior a lot, and I
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
that's great.
But Wolfenstein, I think, is leagues above.
Oh yeah, I would totally agree. with that.
Wolfenstein's so good. Have you played
Mhm.
it? Wolfenstein?
I've seen my brother play it. It looks real clean and like nice, and it just looks
It's sharp.
satisfying. to
It's
play.
very sharp.
I think
It's very polished.
Wolfenstein is one of the most surprising little gems that came out because Machine Games used to be, I forget the name of the company, they made Chronicles of Riddick, and they used to work for that company and then they started their own. And this is Machine Games' first game was Wolfenstein.
Well, those were good games too, weren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They made other things. I'm blanking on them. They also did The Darkness. It was those guys.
Okay, those were good games too.
So they were always these story-driven first-person shooters, right? Cool. And what I think the best thing about Wolfenstein, for me, is while it's fun as hell, it's super campy, but the story's completely straight-faced and really well told.
What it seems like to me, my favorite part about Wolfenstein is that B.J. Blazkowicz is still that character from the original Wolfenstein, but he's in a modern game, and it's like he still has that same attitude, but he's in this modern world. It's almost like a fish out of water story. Almost.
It's what it is. I mean,
I love how they do that.
The basic stuff, not to the DLC is a prequel, and it's self-contained as well. I mean, you can buy it standalone. You don't need the original game, and you don't need to play the original if you really just want to give this a shot because it's a prequel. It takes place in World War II, but the main game is what if Nazis won and you're in the 60s and the Nazis have taken over the world.
Right.
Okay.
And basically the whole world is Nazi and you're like a small member of resistance trying to fight back. And
that explains the Stein.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wolfenstein is the name of the castle. That's,
well, there we go.
That's why the original was Escape from Castle Wolfenstein.
Okay.
Anyway, point is, I can't really talk about the standalone as much as I can talk about all of Wolfenstein, but like, if you like shooters, ignore what the critics say. That game is great. Cool. It had
critics were hard on it. I thought it got pretty good reviews.
It had gotten like 7s when it first came out. Well, the reason is this: it didn't have a lot of hype behind it, and the beginning kind of sucks. It's one of those games where the first mission is not nearly as good as once it's over. When you're in World War II in the original game, it's the pacing's not the best, and it kind of feels cheap.
I have a theory that a lot of good games are well liked with a bad mission in them because the bad mission shows how good the rest of the game is. Like Super Meat Boy is my favorite example of this. So the whole game is exactly perfect and I love it, except for the part where you're on the platform and there's that guy smashing on you and it has nothing to do with mechanics. It's all about remembering his pattern. And
yeah, I know the boss.
It has nothing to do with anything before or after. It's just like, what the fuck just happened? You get through it and you're like, that was the worst part ever. I hate this game. And then you go back to loving it again because it's Super Meat Boy.
At least with Wolfenstein, it's right at the beginning, so it's kind of the equivalent of ripping off the Band-Aid and then immediately being rewarded for everything after that.
Yeah.
And, I love Wolfenstein. I really think, it was my game of the year, and this is more of that, but it's supernatural again. Because it's back like they did in Return to Castle Wolfenstein. So they're Nazi zombie kind of things. But it's handled in its own way, and it's completely straight-faced.
The moment that I went from liking that game to loving that game, I remember it. It was the cutscene where BJ's being cared for in that hospital, and like time lapses through, and then that whole situation falls apart. I won't spoil it totally, but like that whole scene.
That's right when it gets good.
And then when you have to kind of leave. And you have to blast your way through, obviously. That was so perfectly done, and the whole rest of the game is just as good.
From that point on, it's perfect.
Yeah, and it's I don't even know. It's not very far in. It's maybe an hour or so.
That is literally the turning point because once that happens, everything from that point on is great.
It's so good. It's so good.
And
so good.
I'm just shocked how good the writing is.
Yeah.
They
didn't try. They didn't what I love about it is they didn't try too much. They didn't complicate it too much. You know what I mean? It's relatively simple. I mean, there's stuff going on with characters, but I mean, they didn't try too much. They didn't bite off more than they could chew. It's the perfect amount of story, perfect amount of involvement with characters.
I think what Wolfenstein does really well is that there are two writers, and that just happen to work brilliantly together. You have the dumb guy who loves dumb shit and wants it to explode and write, and Nazis to kill that are kind of one-dimensional. And then you have this other writer that's completely three-dimensional and fleshes everything out. But unlike some games, they work perfectly.
It's kind of a Paul McCartney, John Lennon.
So, how they're robots and stuff and all this futuristic technology? It probably has one of my favorite explanations of how they got that in fiction. Can I spoil it? Spoiler for one thing.
It's a year old.
I think this is really clever. So there's this group of Jews that have hidden out that have all this future tech, and this is how the Nazis took over in this world. And their basic idea is they just make all this futuristic stuff as their way of getting closer to God. So like the equipment itself doesn't matter. They're just making stuff because they figure it gets them closer to that inevitable nirvana. And I think that's a brilliant, interesting answer for why all this futuristic tech exists.
Sounds like that's a good motivation for Nazis too. That sounds like something they would want to do.
Well, they're obsessed with the occult, and they're bad in this game. So you don't feel bad about killing them. Nazis got to kill.
You feel great about killing them.
Yeah.
Every single Nazi you kill, you're like, there's another Nazi.
Hey, you cannot see now because he's dead.
But
that's the Wolfenstein catchphrase. It's on the front of the box.
You can take it to the bank.
But yeah, it's the Half-Life of modern shooters. Like, if you haven't played it, you're doing yourself a disservice. And
I can't think of a better shooter that.
There's
for
no
the past several
multiplayer.
years,
It's
I can't
so
think
focused.
How much is it? I believe it's on Steam, right?
It's on Steam.
How much?
I don't know. I can check.
But it's worth it, whatever it is.
Okay.
I bought it full price day one.
Well, I know this expansion is worth 20. I'm gonna look it up. If you want to talk about a game, I'll look it up.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, by the way, speaking of DLC updates, whatever, have you seen the Mario Kart update?
No, I don't have Mario Kart 8.
It's really, really good.
It's like the one Wii U game I really want. I don't have.
It's fucking amazing. It's my favorite Wii U game I own right now. But anyway, so you know how in traditional Mario Kart, I think this has been true since Super Mario Kart, maybe even I think. Anyway, so you know how you have the 50cc, 100cc, 150cc races, which makes your car faster, and I think the the other racers more difficult to race against.
Right.
They added 200cc to Mario Kart 8, and it is absolutely fucking insane.
This is a weird.
It's really hard.
Winnable though.
It's doable, but it's just outside of my skill range. Because I beat everything. I did all the races. I got first place on everything. 150cc, 150. I did it all.
That's a good place to be though, right outside your skill range. It keeps you coming back, keeps you motivated. It makes you better.
Yeah, that's like getting. I mean, I'm bringing up Super Meat Boy again, but that's exactly what that game was.
Mm-hmm.
You'd finish a level, and the next one was just outside your skill range.
Have you played Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transform?
I have it on Steam, and it's incredible.
Okay,
that is a
I was
fun
about to say,
game.
if you were like Mario Kart 8, I feel like Sonic Racing Transformed is just a little better.
I'm kind of the opposite. If I set, let's say Mario Kart 8 is a 10. I don't think it is compared to all games, but let's just set it at 10. Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed is a 9.
What makes
I
it
still
a 9?
love it.
What makes it a 9 for you?
I feel like mechanically Mario Kart feels better.
A little
Taking
more
turns,
polish.
I feel like it's floatier,
I
which
like
isn't
it
necessarily
better.
a bad thing. It's
I like
just
it better.
different.
And just taking turns, the drifting mechanics, everything just feels. It's more crispy to me. It feels better. It feels
Okay.
That's all. With that said, Sonic still feels good. Like it's totally fun.
It totally gives Mario Kart a run for its money.
And you get to be Team Fortress 2. Fucking that's amazing.
Yeah, and the PC version.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's different characters for each system. On a PlayStation, you get Wreck-It Ralph. That might be in all of them actually.
Yeah.
I think that's in all of them.
I forget
and then
the PlayStation
that
exclusive
chick
one
from
is.
NASCAR.
Danica Patrick.
Yeah.
She don't need to fucking be there, but
I found out the price for Wolfenstein's really strange on Steam.
All right.
Is it?
If you just get the New Order, which was the game from last year, it's still the full 60. But if you get it with the expansion, it's 45.
It's on sale then.
It's
It must
maybe
be like a sale.
But like if you get both together,
Steam doesn't ever do that. So it must be like a Steam when they knock down like a new one. They always knock down the old ones every time. That's I've never seen it before.
just wait for the Steam sales. They're coming in summer.
Even
right?
if it was more, I would say go ahead and get that one anyway.
Well, I mean, like what? Summer sales are like could be any week.
Yeah.
And when that time comes, that's when if you're interested.
Here's the thing: I haven't bought GTA 5 yet, and I'm like, I really want to get it.
We'll get both.
Man, if you get that game, you're gonna be on that for a while.
I think I'm gonna do GTA 5 first. With all
It's
due
a great
respect.
game.
That's
It's a
perfectly
great
fine.
It looks really fun.
It is fun.
It's great, and the
I-
multiplayer in that is insane now.
And
Yeah, the
here's the thing.
multiplayer is awesome.
There's a lot of little franchises like that I've just kind of ducked out of just due to lack of money or interest or whatever. I mean, Pokemon was one of them. Last one I played was Silver, and then I bought Pokemon X. Like that's a huge gap. That's like 400. That's like 400 Pokemon I've never seen before.
I'm the same way with Grand Theft
And
Auto.
that's what I'm saying.
I haven't
Like,
played one since like Vice City, maybe.
That's the last I have.
Five's
I
a
have
good one
Vice
to
City.
jump to.
I have
Yeah.
Vice City, and I haven't played a single one.
Yeah, like San Andreas, I played for maybe like half an hour at a friend's house, and I didn't really like it.
It's the same here.
And then like I don't think I played 4 at all.
4 looks cool.
I think
just skipped 4
GTA
entirely.
5 is the best Grand Theft Auto in terms of fun.
That's
Like,
what
I would
it
agree.
is the best one.
Vice City is a very close second. It's a lot of the same amount of fun you have with Vice City.
Vice City is incredible.
Because the main character, or not the main character, but Michael, he reminds me a lot of the guy from Vice City.
Well,
He's basically that guy, but in 2013
I
instead of
think
the 80s.
story-wise, it's definitely my favorite out of all of them, and mission structure-wise. But then you have the multiplayer and the multiplayer heists. Once you get your hands on those heists, you can't go
I
back.
still haven't done multiplayer.
It's
heists.
Those are fun.
It's
Yeah.
a game
Those
where
are fun.
It's a game where while you're driving, you can turn to your passenger and flip him off. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Can I explain like
God.
a single moment of a heist just to set up why this is amazing?
Absolutely.
So the heists are these giant, are these elaborate things that you're setting up. So you have missions before missions until the final big mission, and one of them was you had to steal these jets off of a ship, right? So you and your buddies go into the ship, hijack it, and then there are other jets coming at you, and after you blow them up, you're all flying in these jets. Highway to the danger zone kicks on, and you're all flying. Like it's amazing.
That's funny.
What makes the heist extra interesting is in the single player, the heists are these really scripted, awesome missions, right? So when you add scripted stuff with multiplayer, with different people doing different roles, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because it still feels scripted, even though it's not, because it's your friends that are requiring. So you'll have like people walk in and there'll be like cutscenes, going on and trying to do one part of a mission that actively affects yours, and then but because you all have different goals that equal the same thing. So fun.
Yeah.
Well, GTA, I love that game. It was worth the wait for the heist.
Though I didn't play Grand Theft Auto games since Vice City, I played a fuckload of what's the other one that's not Grand Theft Auto? I can't remember the name of it.
Cause?
Saints Row.
Saints Row.
Okay.
And fucking love Saints Row so much.
Yeah,
Saints Row 4.
it satisfies a totally different craving for me than Saints Row, but at the same time, I love it just as much.
I didn't like any Saints Row except for 4.
I like 3 a lot. I'm
3 is
surprised
my
you like
favorite. 3 is my favorite.
Yeah, 3 is probably my
I didn't
favorite
get
too.
into it.
3 is so
GTA is a different
One thing I'm going to miss
Oh, yeah,
mechanically if I switch over to Grand Theft Auto, which I'm going to do, is I'm probably not going to play Saints Row while I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, because it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I switch over, what I'm going to miss is being able to walk up to cars and like holding E and then jumping through the windshield into the car.
Well, I mean, to be
I'm
fair,
going to miss that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
quick, and you just go...
Yeah,
to be
right.
fair, if you're playing on PC, mods, you
Yeah.
will probably find that in a mod.
That's why
yeah.
I've considered getting Grand Theft Auto 4 a million times, because that seems like one of the most moddable games I've ever seen in my life. Like right under probably like Skyrim. Like
I loved 4, but it exists in a time and a place. And if you play it now, it's probably not nearly as good as when it came out.
okay.
5, on the other hand, I think is one of those games that you could play 10 years from now and will still hold up.
All right, I'll get it. Probably my next check here, I'll probably go snatch up some
Do it, man.
GTA 5.
I've also
Do
been
it.
playing one other game.
Okay.
Which is Earthbound?
No. Mother 3. I've been playing a little Mother 3.
Thank God it's not Earthbound.
God,
And
never guessed that. Never would I got that.
can I say something, though, that I have not realized until I played Mother 3 for this go-round?
Sorry, that was so rude and uncalled for of me. I'm sorry.
You only have a microphone next to you.
I mean this from the
that.
bottom of my heart. Mother 3 is the darkest video game I think I've ever played in my life.
Then turn the brightness up.
And you really wouldn't think so. Because, like, if you look at Mother 3, it's very funny, very zany, and colorful.
Mm-hmm.
All the characters are literally based off of claymation characters, so they have a certain look to them.
Yeah.
Because interesting thing with the Earthbound games is that they made 3D models out of clay and then made the character models based off the clay-mated version.
Tim Burton the game.
Kinda. Mother 3 is the most depressing storyline in the history of video games.
Is that the one where
getting on this.
where the dog gets possessed by the game developer?
No, that's Earthbound.
Okay.
But that's entirely zany and humorous. Here's the difference. Earthbound, and I love both these games. Don't get me wrong, Earthbound's my favorite game of all time. But Earthbound is a game that's a lot looser with story, and it's a lot more with theming. And then when the story kicks in, it catches you by surprise, and you actually feel something.
Mm-hmm.
Mother 3 is a game where it is a little more typical of a JRPG. You have characters that talk to each other. Thank you. You have characters that talk to each other, the typical dialogue, but my god, while it still has a zany humor, it is the most depressing storyline ever.
I like a good depressing storyline in a game.
That is a game.
That's hard to do, I feel like. That's
That
hard to
is a
write.
game that will make you cry. And I am not kidding when I say that.
That's good.
Mother 1 is a game I don't like it very much, but the ending made you choke up a little bit.
Yeah.
Mother 2 is a game where you walk away going, holy shit, that affected me way more than I thought it was going to. That ending really hit my heart. And then Mother 3 makes you cry your eyes out.
Yeah.
And makes you feel more depressed than any human being on the planet. And I am surprised how dark it is the whole way through, because I just remembered Mother 3's ending being sad. This is a game where, like, within the first hour, your mother dies and your father is beating the shit out of people because he's just depressed.
Mother 0.
It's really sad.
Because you don't have one.
Mother -1.
Joke's on you. Mother 1 was called Earthbound 0 because it was never released.
We're making light of a dark situation. What other games have made you cry, Eric? Let's go around and talk about games that have made us cry. Because I think we all at least have one.
You know, a real tearjerker for Eric is Animal Crossing City Folk. Tom Nook is relentless.
I think there's only been, like, 3 games that did it.
And they are?
Mother 3, Metal Gear Solid 3.
Really? 3 made you cry? What part?
The
If you don't mind me
boss.
asking.
The ending.
The ending? Okay.
Holy shit, when Big Boss fucking weeps over the grave, that got him. That
that
choked
is
me up.
rough. That is rough.
And then Walking Dead Season 1.
Fair enough. Max?
That's a pretty tough one. One off the top of my head, I didn't like cry, but I felt
What got you
it
closest
felt
to
sad. Honestly,
You're
and
such a man.
this might be just totally a lame answer, but Limbo. That game was just so dark and depressing. It's
Yeah.
just like this little boy is like trying to. It's just like so.
I have that game. I need to play that.
It's really good.
The ending, I could totally see
You
how
can
that
beat it
gets
in
you.
about 4 or 5 hours. Just do it one day.
I've had it for like a year.
It's good. Well, like it's just so. The game is just so. It's fucking. Just like this little boy going through and his spiders trying to kill him, and the ending is just so. It's just like. Oh,
The
God.
ending kind of sums up everything, and it didn't make me cry more, and it just depresses you every time you play it because you
It's so
get
good.
it. Once you really get what that game's about, it hurts.
Cool.
It hurts a lot.
I like games that can do that.
Yeah.
I would probably say I also have 3. Metal Gear Solid 1, when Sniper Wolf dies.
Okay.
I cried. And by the way, I was like really fucking immature, and I was like 11.
Okay.
And it's a fucking game.
I'm not
actually-
asking you to justify it.
Oh, no,
I cried
no,
like a baby.
I'm saying that's why that means it's even sadder, because when I was 11, I didn't give a shit about anything. I was like, "Where's all the tits, man? When do I get to shoot again?"
Although I would
That's
also
why you cried.
argue,
and then when Sniper Wolf died, not only was that like the first time a game ever made me cry, but that was like a turning point in my maturity as a person. I feel like, like I was able to really enjoy a story instead of just, "Where's the next time I shoot? Where's the Mountain Dew? Fuck you," you know. Instead of like that, that's when I changed from being that guy to being, "Oh wow, I can really get invested in the story and care and really be involved the way the developer wanted me to be involved." You know,
Yeah.
really experience the story. So that was a big moment.
I'll put another one of my answers. I just thought of something.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I can't think of the fucking name of it because I'm an idiot.
Limbo.
Game where you're a baby.
I know what you're talking about. I haven't played it yet.
Some sleep.
Among the Sleep.
Oh yeah.
That
Among the
game.
Sleep.
Don't tell me why it's sad out.
Oh no!
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I tell you what it's about, it ruins it. But
Well, as far as I know, it's a baby that is.
It's a horror
spooky
game.
It's like
Well, it's an eerie game.
I'd say it's about 60 or 70% a horror game.
Really? Okay.
You don't realize it till the end. You go through and everything seems nonsensical, and then at the end, everything you've done, everything you've seen makes sense, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Cool.
I
I really need to buy
It's
that.
short.
I have not bought that, and that's like one of the top ones on my list to play. And I've still
I
haven't
if
done
you never
it.
buy it,
play it.
If you never buy it, it's short enough. You could come over and beat it at my house.
Okay.
I might
Oh,
have
okay.
to do that.
I'd like to
because
actually stream that.
My
maybe.
computer can't
yeah.
run it. It's not on PS4, so I'll have to come
Yeah.
over. But I really want
Let's
to.
stream it.
We should do that. We should do it maybe over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Also, I would say for my other one, the Metal Gear 4,
Okay.
I shed one single man tear when
He picked Metal Gear twice. I'd like to point that out.
yeah, well, and and I did get close at 3, although I didn't quite, and 2 didn't really have a sad ending. It had a depressing ending, but it wasn't like
I cried during Flappy Bird.
2 wasn't sad.
two
it was
was like-
just
it
more
was-
confusing and interesting.
It was overwhelmingly. I was very depressed, but I wasn't like
Cried
this is
during
so
Tetris.
sad. Yeah.
Well, it ends
Tetris
kind of
had- Tetris was-
optimistic.
Tetris is fucking
if
amazing.
Tetris
anything.
gets you. It just builds and builds, you know.
Tetris is the only game you cannot win.
That's
no
true.
matter how good you are.
I cried during Bubble Bobble. I cried during.
You didn't get the real ending.
If you want a technical answer out of me, I cried during Spelunky out of just frustration.
Mhm.
I right now in Spelunky, I'm in this mission where. So
Voice
there's
and diction, maybe.
oh my god.
I got that on tape, by the way. I recorded you again. And that's going on Facebook today.
No.
Maybe I should just start putting these on the channel on the Movie Cafe because they're pretty funny.
Well, I
record Eric a lot. He doesn't know.
I have footage of us trying to get in the door the other day from our last episode. That I forgot to send you.
I want to see the bee thing.
That
was a funny moment.
So, if you all remember, if you saw the episode where we recorded in John's car, there was a bee in the car, and we were just standing outside of it trying to get out.
Eric's car.
Eric's car. And we were just, I stood outside of it and just filmed him trying to get a bee out of the car, and it was really funny. And I had that.
It took forever.
It's just on my phone.
We gave him every opportunity to leave, and he was like, no, I'm going to check out the glove compartment.
I'll give him a teaser, I'll give him some of the audio, just so they can stick around the ending.
Tease it for the boys and girls.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put it at the ending, maybe you gotta
Did that make you cry?
I feel like it justifies its own video, probably, honestly.
I don't know how long
this turn into Let's Laugh at Eric shots?
I don't know that it's. I don't even know that it's like a minute long, but it was really funny.
And just real quickly while you're looking for that, the only other game that's made me cry, The Last of Us.
Oh, Last of Us.
Opening.
Last of Us made me sick more than cry, but I could totally see it.
The opening.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah.
Like that made me sick to my stomach.
It was absolutely gut-wrenching.
I still think Last of Us, even though I'm not as in love with that game as many people are, I think is the greatest ending in storytelling.
The ending is
in video gaming, as long as they never make a sequel. Because if you make a sequel to that, then it'll ruin the entire punch.
God, I hope they don't. I think they probably will, but God, I hope they don't.
At least if it shows off different characters, it's fine. The prequel is fine. That's completely great.
I could live with a prequel.
Never, ever go past that point. I know there's stories that could come out of it, but that will kill that ending.
I agree.
It's such a good ending.
Anyway, Max, you got a teaser?
Nope.
Couldn't find it?
I think it's on my computer. I want to say I took it off.
I hope it's somewhere because it was funny.
I do have a video of us trying to unlock a door. It's not as funny as them trying to get a bee out of Eric's car.
We need to upload other stuff to the channel anyway, so if we should make them their own things.
Come over to my house and we will play games this room.
I think Braid also, it didn't make me cry, but it got me.
I have that. I haven't played that.
You'll like it.
It's one on my PS3.
It's one of those games that took me a real long time until I got it.
You have to turn your brain the fuck on to beat missions in that game. It's hard.
It seems hard. It looks hard. Puzzle platformers, I generally make it about 20% of the way in, then I give up.
It's one of those kind of games that's misleading. It seems a lot more boring than it is, and because once you beat it and once again, figure out what it's about, it changes your entire perspective on it, and then it makes you look back and go, oh.
That game is just like so. You have to think so far ahead of what's happening in front of you on your screen at that moment that it's just like. I'm really, really bad at Braid. It took me a very, very long time. I probably watched YouTube videos on how to get past certain parts because I couldn't figure it out. It's very, very difficult.
It's okay. There's no shame.
You ever read his guide on how to beat the game, his walkthrough?
Oh, Jonathan's?
Mm-hmm.
No, Jonathan
It's
Blow, the
hilarious.
developer.
Jonathan Blow did a walkthrough on his website, which was, it solved the first part where it says go right, and then once you get in the first word, it said figure it out on your own, you'll feel better about it. And that's the end of the walkthrough.
Jonathan Blow, I love that. Jonathan Blow is so pretentious, but I like him.
He's right about that.
You know
because
what?
you do feel better if you figure shit out on your own.
Pretentious is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Pretentious, if
I like him.
I always felt a little sorry for him because I know the feeling of making something and want to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he used to be famous for being the guy that would go on the forums and whenever someone talked bad about Brady, would go in there and immediately be like, why? You know, and I get that. As someone who's made stuff, like, you know, to be defensive and sometimes you gotta let your baby just exist. But, you know, I respect him.
He had a game planned after that called The Witness.
He's still working on it.
I was going to ask if that ever happened.
It's almost out, and it's coming to PlayStation. He said he spent all the money he got for Braid and put it towards Witness.
I trust him so much that I will like unquestioningly just buy it. Like,
well, right now his entire life is on the line for that game.
Sure.
And I'm sold completely because it's a puzzle first person game.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
It's supposed to be like Myst, and it interests me.
I really, really like Jonathan Blow. I remember the moment I got respect for him.
He ain't like Phil Fish.
So that's actually relevant. So if you get any game that will be on Steam, there's like a bunch of special features, and there's this. I think you know what I'm talking about. There's this video of this panel they were on, where, gosh, what was it? So, there was a Japanese guy. Was he Japanese? He was Japanese.
Yeah, he was Japanese.
And he asks Phil Fish something along the lines of like, what do you think of modern Japanese games as compared to the old ones? And Phil Fish was like, he's like, they're shit, you guys need to make better games.
You need to get with the times, is what he said.
But same thing. That's
Well,
basically.
I feel like one's
It's
more
what I said.
important because it's not just that it's shit; it's that it's outdated. He's saying
Yeah.
you all are
More
people of
specifically.
the past.
And then so Phil Fish is like totally. He's incredible in the fact that he just doesn't care. He just says whatever's in his brain.
Yeah.
Which I respect
That's amazing.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't consider that like a perfectly good quality in a person.
So I feel a little
Sometimes
sorry
it's
for
a
Phil
lack of
Fish because he
restraint.
said many times before, and I feel like it needs to be really remembered.
Yes.
The man has like a personality disorder.
Sure.
I'm not even kidding. He has publicly stated that, he does have personality disorder
Yep.
of some variety. I forget the name of it, which one he has. But, he is the kind of... he flip-flops constantly.
Yep.
But, no man
don't
on the
think
internet should have that much hate for literally making a thing.
And before I forget, the reason I even brought the story up at all was right after Phil Fish did that, and the Japanese guy totally was defeated and sad. He was he looked.
Yeah.
I felt. Oh man, I want to hug him. He sat down, and then Jonathan got up and he's like, no. Well, what he means is, and then he explained it really eloquently, and it made sense. He's like, and then he gave examples. He's like, well, take the new Zelda. It's less of an open world and more of a takes you through every little step, and it's too easy. He explained what he meant, and just in a way that was just like, oh, okay.
I feel like
It's
there is
real
a
quickly.
point to make there, but at the same time, you have something
Phil
like
wasn't
Dark
wrong.
Souls.
Phil wasn't wrong.
You have Dark
He
Souls.
was
I
just
think that's the
mean.
greatest Japanese thing to come out of Japan recently.
Yeah.
Like that, it's so different and such a brilliant take. And Persona's great.
I'm gonna quote the actress that played Mark Zuckerberg's girlfriend in The Social Network, and this is directed at Phil's comment there. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Which undercuts how right you can be.
Speaking of which, here is
Sure.
something we have to talk about. Speaking of Japan,
Oh.
Konami.
Yeah.
They deleted PT from the servers.
Yeah.
Good thing I still have mine downloaded.
Delete it now.
No. It's all I have now. It's all I have of the memory of what that game
I think
could have been.
Konami might be the most evil, terrible company.
Man, oh my
You know,
god.
I'll
They
say
have nothing.
I feel you on that. I still have Flappy Bird on my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing. Same thing.
Well, there's a difference. One was good. Oh,
Oh,
you like PT?
sorry, PT.
I like PT.
So you're saying Flappy Bird was bad?
Yeah.
I enjoy Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird is a
I think
game
it's fun.
that is cloned so many times that if you lose it, you have a million options to play Flappy Bird.
That doesn't
PT
mean
is
it's
one
bad.
of... That
I think
means...
Flappy Bird's fun.
Let me put it this way. Flappy Bird is a game that you can get a clone of, and if you did delete that game, you really wouldn't be losing it.
Sure, there wouldn't be clones if it didn't exist,
PT, on the other hand, is a game that if you delete, you are fucked, because that is a memorable experience that you can only have.
The only thing I'm
With
worried
that.
about is if thankfully I switched out I upgraded my PS4 hard drive a few months ago to 2 terabytes.
Good thing you did it
So
then.
hopefully I don't ever need to do that again. I don't think I will. So
I've
hopefully I'm
read
good.
some really stupid people saying, who are buying PS4s with PT installed. And the reason it's dumb is because there is an account hooked up to your console, and if you delete that account, then your PT will not work.
Right.
So if you buy one of those consoles,
You're on their account.
well, obviously
use
they
that
probably deleted the account, so you couldn't log in, which means you couldn't play that demo, which means
That's
it'd be
dumb.
So you just bought an overpriced PS4, good job.
Yeah, good job.
And before we forget, this is super important. Yooka-Laylee.
Yooka-Laylee.
So the announcement for Yooka-Laylee, essentially the spiritual successor to
I'm
Banjo-Kazooie
curious how
from
much
the
money they made.
from the ex-devs of Rare from the Donkey Kong Country Banjo-Kazooie days. It was announced, I think, probably it was either at the time of or a couple hours after our last episode, so we couldn't talk about it just because of the bad timing. My God, am I pumped for that? I'm
Yep.
so excited.
So
Oh my
I mean,
God.
this is going to be exactly what it needs to be.
Yes.
This is where gaming is. This is what gaming is now. Unfortunately, these people need to. They're super talented. They have legacies, but they can't just get a game into existence.
I highly
They have
disagree
to
with
ask
you.
everyone else. I wish they had more of like. You know
No,
what I mean? I wish
I
they
highly
could depend on
disagree.
a company to help them.
You know what would happen if they depended on a company? Let's put in those DLC and microtransactions and really hoard this out for commercial use. You go straight to the fans, you're making the game that you want to make and the game they want to play.
Right. Well,
I fucking love it.
That's
Because-
kind of an extension of what my point was, is that I
Well-
wish that they could, like back in the late 90s, when a group of like maybe 10 people could make a sweet game, it was good, and a company would publish it without fucking it
But
up.
this should be better because we can get a game of this level to come out just because fans actually want it. Which means, okay, I don't like companies that much because they're usually, right now especially,
And publishers
Publishers are kind of fucking up everything.
Yeah, they
I mean,
are.
like, look
They
at
are,
Star
right.
Wars Battlefront. Right now, that should be one of the most hypest games, and they've, like, already on paper that game is like already less of a game than Battlefront 2, which came out.
They did add some maps, I heard, but
they
still,
added maps,
marginal
but like
improvement.
you hear what Battlefront 3 was supposed to be, and then you hear what this is, and you know it's like
it's Battlefield 4 in Star Wars.
the difference between a Kickstarter game and a game from a publisher is that when you make a game from a publisher, it exists purely as a financial thing. When you make a game through Kickstarter, it is literally artistic first. Because you are seeking... The publisher are the people that want to play your fucking game. So you are trying to make a game that they want, you know, more than anything else. So when these success stories happen... Like, Yooka-Laylee is a game that hasn't been made... You know, a platformer like this hasn't really come out in a long, long time, especially from people with this pedigree. I mean, hell, the last time they made a Banjo-Kazooie game, they fucked it up, right?
Yep.
But it wasn't that there wasn't a demand. It was just that we haven't been getting them.
There.
So when the Rare guys say, hey, fans, would you like a game like this? And we're all on board, there are people that are giving them more money because we trust these people and we want that experience and we know they're good for it. I see this as nothing but positive.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that avenue's there for them, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Kickstarter and I love, what's the other one?
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo's big. Yeah, I mean, I love these things. I just wish publishers would just publish like they used to. And now they're like, they get into the development end of it too much. Because publishers need to focus on money, I get that. But they need to stay in their corner like they used to. Like the game Skull Monkeys, that was like 7 people. It's like Doug TenNapel and like 7 of his super talented friends made that game.
And now
then
they're making
was it Electronic Arts that published that?
Yeah, but
they,
to be
they,
fair...
They left it the fuck alone and they said, alright, we're going to take that jewel that you've made and we're going to bring it to the masses. That's the relationship.
They didn't do a good job trying to
didn't,
market it. Already, I would say...
But it was a great game.
Well, their new game that they've all teamed up for, Omicron, has already made more money than Skull Monkeys did. And the reason is... Yeah, because out of backers. But like here's another thing. You will make more money with a Kickstarter because the people who are backing your game are customers. So like these are guaranteed profit they can put towards your game, and then everything that comes after that is like a bonus. So
you think in the long run this will be better than the best publisher developer system we had like in the 90s? This will be better? Is that what you think?
I think we exist in a world right now where there is a little bit of segregation, no racial humor here. But we have segregation.
It's a loaded word.
Between AAA...
You could say divided, you could say lots of things.
I like the word segregated. Okay. You take whatever you want.
All
He
right.
likes... we're just going to say Eric likes the word segregated.
Let's go on record here.
Yeah.
So you have these, you have AAA and then you have indie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The line is getting blurrier by the day. You played Oddworld New and Tasty.
Totally.
That was
Fabulous.
an indie game published by Pocket. And that game looks better than half the AAA
And it got on consoles.
It got on consoles.
Hell, it's on the Vita.
It's on the Vita, it's on the
Which is
PS3, on the
obscure as hell.
PS4. It looks great, and it is a phenomenal game that wouldn't have been done by a publisher. At least not in the way that game came out.
Right, it would have had spend $5 to skip this level.
You have massive success, like Star Citizen, that's made almost like $100 million. It's not even out yet. But like that's because the demand was so there for a game like that. But then, on the other hand, you have AAA, and that's getting more and more depressing. Because you are, not only are multiplayer forced, microtransactions, money grubbing, season passes, but you have things like Evolve that justify it, say it have to have. Mortal Kombat recently, was exploited. We had to slow down. Like, literally everything on the AAA side is getting more and more depressing, while the indie game stuff is getting better and better.
I feel like there's a crash coming for AAAs.
But here's the thing, when that crash happens, it doesn't affect us as much as we think it would because because the indie's getting so much better. That like now we're going to have all these really, really good products that exist that are aimed at the niche people that want them, that are made as passion projects. And soon, what I'm imagining is going to happen is that all these AAA people are probably going to go to their iPhones or gambling and do a Konami and probably quit. And the people who are really passionate are going to get together and make things that they want to make. And I see that as nothing but a positive thing. I think that's if you want to look at things,
it just seems so unstable to me. I worry about it. I just worry about it because it's not. There's no bedrock underneath it. You know what I mean?
I think what we're going back to is PC games in the early 90s.
Uh-huh.
We are going back to where LucasArts would exist, or like a game like Ultima would be made by one guy, and then it would become a big selling franchise. And that, and like these little people.
Dust.
Dust.
Dust was like literally one person.
Yeah,
And
but
it's a
like
solid game.
these things are just coming out so often. I mean, you can't even keep track of how many brilliant things come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now you don't even have to worry about budgeting because the people who are really excited and believe in you will give you that budget.
Did
if
you
sell it?
Did you hear how fast Yooka-Laylee was funded?
So
Its goal, I believe, was £100,000, which is about $150,000 US. 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yep.
They're still making more and more.
So you know how the way Kickstarters work is they have their main goal, right? And that's if you hit that, then that's when the thing gets made. That's when it can start getting made, whatever. Then they have stretch goals that they go over, right? So they have, if you give us this much extra, we'll put this in the game, or we'll change the music to this, or we'll put in an extra whatever if you get to this one. So their goal is £100,000, right? They had a stretch goals all the way up to £1 million, which is like $1.5
Are they
million.
on
US dollars.
Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
Kickstarter.
Okay.
They blasted that out in like 2 or 3 days. So 10 times the amount that they requested, they got. And the last one I think they're working towards, they haven't got quite yet, is £1.5 million British pounds, which is probably over 2 million US dollars.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm trying to remember do you know what that last stretch goal is? It has something to do with, maybe it's like an alternate track of songs. And this is one good thing that's given me a lot of hope about the team behind Yooka-Laylee.
It's an orchestra.
They're hiring an orchestra to do their music, which is going to sound incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they've mentioned in their Kickstarter page, and this is super cool. They're like,
super close.
we are making sure to not make stretch goals that'll change the direction of the game. We don't want to just keep adding shit and ruin the game. We're going to do sorts of like little add-on things that we don't think will change our vision, and that's like super cool. That was my worry. I'm like, they're going to have to keep making stretch goals, and it's just the game's going to be like half of the game is just going to be like user requests. And I was worried about
Star
that.
Citizen had that problem. That's why that game's taking so long, because they made so many stretch goals. They literally had to stop and say, we can't make any more.
Yeah, and so I think it's cool that they're limiting themselves. They're like, all right, we're gonna make the game we're gonna make. I don't care how much extra money we make. We'll put extra cool things in it. Like we're gonna have Grant Kirkhope, guy doing the music, make a rap. That's one of the stretch
Again.
goals. Oh my god, Grant Kirkhope rapping is gonna be the best.
It's
thing.
not just Grant Kirkhope. It's the guy who also did Tropical Freeze's soundtrack. I can't think of his name, but like he's also phenomenal.
And Grant released a track from Yooka-Laylee, and it sounds fucking amazing.
It sounds like Banjo-Kazooie.
It's Banjo-Kazooie, but it sounds like with an orchestra. It's just like, it's like chocolate. Where you're just like,
the game will suck.
The game's gonna suck.
Auditorial chocolate.
It looks cool. It's a chameleon. For people who haven't seen it, it's a chameleon named Yuka with a bat named Laylee that sits on shoulders and head.
On the nose.
Little on the nose.
Shoulder and head, and it's little on the nose. And it's
I really like
exactly like
design,
Banjo-Kazooie because it's like two names about an instrument and there's a hyphen. It's like very, very obviously Banjo-Kazooie.
Instead of an evil witch, and this time it's an evil bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Who instead of green is teen.
I don't think the antagonist has been revealed yet.
I'm just making shit up.
Which is really cool. They're like, I like that they're keeping a bunch from. I don't want to know.
The villain is a guy named Fred.
And there's a so apparently the way they're going to do it is that they're going to have that's what are the mechanics they described. So they're going to have the flutter, right, that kind of Kazooie had in Banjo-Kazooie, but with the bat. It's going to be very similar. The bat apparently is going to have like a sonar blast thing to like make things go away from you, and the collectibles in the game are going to be more important than most N64 collectible games like DK64.
Good.
Right.
Collectibles are what it's about, man.
They knew, and they made them the collectibles to sort of cater to the moves you're going to be making. So like a lot of moves you can do are based on the collectibles you have, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's going to be this like
so
direct
much motivation.
reason.
Yeah. It's great.
And like it's funny, like DK64, I had a Guinness Book of World Records book, and that's just, I don't know, when you're a kid in like the early 2000s, that's what your relatives got you for Christmas is Guinness.
Oh yeah, I have like 4 of them.
In one of them, I remember this very specifically because I was playing the game at the time. DK64 is probably still true, has world record for most collectibles in a video game.
It is true, and that's why I don't like DK64 very much. It's
I
too
do like
much
it.
for me.
I do like it, but it is too much. So like
When you also had 4 characters that had to go through the same areas to collect different.
Yeah, let me give you a scope. Let me give you an idea of how much collectibles would be in like the first level. Okay, so we have 5 Kongs, right? You don't even have them all unlocked when you go there, so you have to go back to the first level after you unlock Chunky, which is the 5th Kong. So each of the Kongs has 100 bananas of their own color in the level, so that's 500 bananas. You collect just the regular bananas. Then each of them has 5 golden bananas per level, so that's 25 more collectibles. Then there's their own coins that they use to get moves from Cranky. Each of them has their own colored coins in each level too. And then obviously there's ammo, and there's those special golden bananas with the rings around them that you get the special ones. And that's just in one level, and that's for every level.
Also interesting
It's fucking
fact,
crazy. It's way too much.
That came
That
with
sounds like
the
a lot.
N64 expansion pack because it was
Yes, it
required to play that game.
There was only like 3 games that needed that. It was
It
that
was-
one and Perfect Dark, I want to say.
Maybe. I know optionally you could have it for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Yeah.
Which is,
Just make
by
it
the
run
way,
now.
way better than the movie. Star Wars Episode Racer pod
That's pretty
racing
low
is
bar.
amazing. That is a fun
I
game.
think I have it for PS2.
It's not the same game.
Is it not the same one?
It's a sequel,
Okay.
but it's not as good.
Okay, that's what
The
I
N64 one is one of my favorite racers ever, which
I'm
is
gonna
funny
Google.
because I hate it.
The one on PS2 is really fun.
Or the
That and another racing game people don't really think about, Jack and Daxter.
Jack X.
They have a
yeah,
racing
yes.
game, and I'm pretty sure Naughty Dog made it.
Yeah, they did.
And it's really solid.
They do
X.
that. They also did Crash Bandicoot.
Did they do CTR?
Racing.
That's a great racer too.
Yeah.
That there's another one called Running Wild.
That's why I'm a
For
little
PS1.
disappointed. I was expecting Uncharted Racing, but they didn't do it.
Well, not enough characters.
Yeah, they're right.
You got Sully and Drake and.
You got Sully, Drake, the 2 girls, that one dude from Uncharted 3, and then you have all the villains show up.
Yeah, I guess you could have.
And then
all
you can
those.
put in like grunt characters to fight, and then like you race, and the entire time.
The journal could have his own car.
Yeah, why not? I'd buy it.
I love obscure racing games like that.
I have a
love
hunch
those.
that Uncharted 4 is going to turn out to be a kart racer.
Probably.
Like just halfway through, and then just like trick you and be like, "You thought you were getting this climbing game."
You know what would be great?
Uncharted
You know what
Racing.
I would buy? I would buy in a heartbeat Metal Gear Solid Racer.
Sure.
You know
There's
why?
More than enough characters.
I'm gonna be
More than
honest.
enough.
One
I do.
after Metal Gear Solid 5, I'm done buying Metal Gear games. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to give them any money without Kojima.
I might wait to get 5 pre-owned, honestly, because I know so much of that's just going to go to Konami.
I know that, but like, here's my validation why I'm going to get it. Okay, Kojima himself has gone on record and saying, if you're going to do that, just go ahead and buy this one because he put his heart into it, and he really just wants people to play it because he's said on record he hasn't been this proud of the game he's made since Metal Gear Solid 1.
Okay, good.
So because of that,
That's
I'm
saying a lot, 'cause
I'm going to
one was
do
perfect.
I'm going to do what he wants versus and it's like Konami will make this last time buying anything.
Cool.
It's not even out of protest. I just don't care anymore. You have nothing else that I would want.
Actually, that's a lie for me because I already bought the special edition. I already bought it.
You're a
I paid for it.
liar.
So I just remembered that with the hand and everything. So that's already done.
Liar.
Yeah.
Pants on fire.
But you know what's interesting? One more thing I want to add on to the whole microtransaction problem conversation we're having.
Yeah.
One, like, Sony exclusives don't have them. Sony exclusives are all, that so far that I can think of, are pretty much free of all that bullshit.
trying to-
The Order 1886, nothing like that. No Uncharted game is anything like that.
Well, they
God of
had
War games don't have anything
multiplayer.
like that.
I would disagree with both of those because they both have multiplayer, which itself had.
Does
map
Ascension
packs.
multiplayer have stuff like that? Okay, well, alright, fine, fair enough. But they don't have, like, press square to do an easy fatality type shit. You know?
No, I mean they don't
Or
have
like
anything offensive.
buy new
Yeah, there's
skins.
nothing like annoying like that interferes with the game and takes you out of the game.
I think it's mainly
Sony exclusives are like that's one of the reasons I choose to play in that Sony space is because their exclusives are so good and like they make very little errors and shit like that. You don't nothing like the third
Bloodborne
party.
certainly didn't have any of that.
Yeah, Bloodborne doesn't have anything like that.
Literally, I mean they might have DLC later on, but
Right, probably.
I
yeah.
finished Bloodborne,
But it'll be DLC that's worth it. You know?
and I'm gonna say this: I finished Bloodborne. I still think I like Dark Souls a little more than Bloodborne, but Bloodborne,
Game of the year so far?
oh yeah.
Okay. What could beat that for you? I feel like that's probably going to be your game of the year.
I've told you that there
Is there anything that could
there
potentially
are
beat that?
the games that could beat it. Metal Gear has a chance to beat it.
Yeah.
Witcher has a chance to beat it. And if Persona comes out this year, I don't think it will, has a chance to beat it. But those are my 3. And I want to say Final Fantasy XIV expansion, but I feel like with MMOs, they're kind of in their own corner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't feel like they show up in the other conversations, because they're just so different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you feel that way. It's like
it's hard to compare them to something like The Last of Us or something.
They're so different.
Yeah.
You know, because you're playing them so much longer.
Right.
And you know, half of my positive experience comes from a community rather than the game itself. And while I look, if you're going to talk about game I put the most hours into right now, it's definitely 14. But fucking, I wouldn't put it on a Game of the Year list just because I kind of view that as this longer giant thing that will exist for years as opposed to a game of a year.
Right.
You know, so
I
even
feel
with
like Metal Gear 5 is pretty much a shoe-in for me.
yeah, because like, I guess what it is like, as excited as I am for the expansion, there's going to be more content added even next year into that expansion.
True.
So I can't feel like it's of this year.
I always try to judge games
Semantics.
for the most part, unless it's a game that like revolves around DLC somehow. I try to judge a game, something like that. Like I try to judge a game based on what it is when it's launched. Maybe give an exception for like a day one patch or whatever.
Here's my
like,
thing.
Other than that, I try not to. Like Dark Souls 2, I would judge based on it before like those packs came out.
If you talk about, if there is a season pass that you've announced before a game comes out, I judge you.
Mm-hmm.
If you are talking about DLC before the fucking thing has showed up, I judge you. If there is a day one purchase as an extra thing or a pre-order bonus that you pay for if you don't pre-order, I will judge you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you're instantly disqualified as my game of the year? No.
Mm-hmm.
But I will view that game as, I got boned a little bit.
More
there is
scrutiny for
content
you.
missing.
Yeah.
It's off. And if I buy a game, I like the feeling of knowing that I've got the game. I'd rather buy something and say, I have everything. And then when stuff comes out, like Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein was a complete package. It took a year and then they made this expansion thing, but it wasn't like cut content. It was, we made a new thing. And this takes place before, but clearly we learned things from then. And you really don't need this to enjoy the previous experience.
It's a standalone game.
It's a standalone thing, but it treats itself as something bigger that was worked on afterward, as opposed to something that's just straight DLC,
right.
which is most DLC feels like you took this out of the game and then you're paying extra to get it back in. Well, that's something where it's like, no, this is a separate experience. I'm buying this. So
within the same universe and within the same experience.
This
but
feels like
thing.
a mini sequel.
Yeah.
I think those are the DLCs I'd love.
I mean, 8 hours feels
Mini
basically
sequels,
like a full sequel to me. 8 hours?
As I say, it is about 8 hours, and it's
solid. That's
well,
like
I mean, it's like half the length of the original game, so it's small, but it's still good. It's a good value.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of my favorite shooters. I mean, it was my game of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking for an hour.
Have we really?
Yeah.
All right.
Hot damn.
Hot damn.
I would like to thank
Philfish.
Starbucks.
For your coffee and for your weird little conversations.
I'd like
you
to
start with
thank
people.
Samsung for sponsoring us this
The
week.
question is, why did Sam sing?
I would like to thank
What did Sam
my
say?
washing machine for
Yeah, I don't know.
staining my shirt.
I noticed
don't know
that. What the hell happened?
I don't know.
Did you,
I have a
It looks like a
theory.
pin or something.
Yeah, I have a hunch it was a pen,
Yeah.
probably in the washer.
You put pins in the washer?
It might have been in my pants. I didn't take
It
it
makes
out.
them wash better.
I'm hoping I can
Yeah.
wash it out. That's
Just some
my-
dirty pens, man. What you gotta do?
Artists, what are you going to do?
Hey, you know, what are you gonna do?
Be sure to
It's
follow
my
us on
favorite shirt.
the Twitter machine.
Mhm.
Also, mobcast.com. There's other podcasts with our friends.
Tell Scotty I said hi.